The Big Body Ball 2024 playoff prediction. The first 12-team playoff in its era. Well, let's predict the field. All right, we got Ohio State and Tennessee as our first game up. This is a absolute must-win for Ryan Day. I cannot fathom what this world will look like in the college football world if Ryan Day loses this, what this will look like for Ohio State. Ryan Day might not be able to leave the stadium. He might not be able to get out of the horseshoe if he loses this game. You cannot lose to Michigan 4 times in a row and have the most talented roster in the country and lose in the first round of the playoffs. Man, some really, really high stakes on this game. Because of that, this is a must-win. I'm going to take Ohio State here. That said, though, I do think Tennessee will make this a game, and I do think this will be a close game. I'll take Tennessee in the points in this game, but Ohio State to win. If I'm looking at these defenses, I think they're pretty comparable. Both Tennessee and Ohio State both have really, really great defenses. But on the offensive side of the ball, I do think that there is maybe a little bit more upside for Tennessee than there is Ohio State. I think Nico, while is inaccurate and has not been connecting with his receivers, that ability does exist still, and those scenarios can still play out. So I do think that they'll be able to get some explosives on Ohio State, but I think Ohio State edges out. All right, then we'll have a rematch between Ohio State and Oregon. I'm going to take Oregon there. I just think they're the better team. They're the most well-rounded team, in my opinion, in the country. So I'm going to take Oregon there. All right, let's head to the bottom bracket. Texas, Clemson. Clemson's heading to Austin, Texas. This is going to be the most interesting game and most fun game for me to watch this week, the following weekend. I think this is going to be great, and I think Clemson's getting a little too slept on. They have not had the best season so far, especially to the expectations that Dabo has created for that program, but they are a really solid team, and Cade Klubnik has been pretty good this year. They have Bryant Wesco and TJ Moore. Those guys have been elite receivers. Antonio Williams, they have a receiving core that they haven't had in the past 3-4 years. There's guys that can stretch the field and make plays. Texas, their defense, they're the number one defense in the country. They're really good. They hold opponents to hardly anything all game. So that's going to be a really, really big challenge for Clemson to overcome. Can the offensive line withstand the pressure from the Texas defensive line? I'm not sure. That's going to be the big story of the game. If the Clemson offensive line can play like they did against South Carolina, I think they'll be able to create opportunities on offense. If not, then Texas is going to have a field day, and this game's not even going to be close. But I'm banking on Clemson's offensive line kind of finding a rhythm right now and getting it done. So give me Clemson to upset Texas and advance, beating Arizona State to the the field of 4. All right, let's head to the top right. Notre Dame, Indiana. I got Notre Dame winning this game here, beating Indiana at home. This is where it gets a little interesting. And a lot of this has to do with maybe the health of the Georgia quarterbacks. Carson Beck, it doesn't seem like – I don't think he's going to play. And I think Notre Dame has been playing really, really well this year. And with Georgia showing like flaws and not anything that has been the typical Georgia that we've seen in the past, I think Notre Dame might be able to take advantage of that. Now, I don't expect Notre Dame to go in and blow the doors off of Georgia. Certainly not. But I do think that they can make it competitive, and I think they can possibly pull it out. So give me Notre Dame over Georgia here. All right, moving on to the next bracket. The SMU to Penn State. That's the first game in this bracket. Penn State hosting SMU. I have to say, guys, on a neutral field in a weather-controlled climate, I'm kind of on the fence on this one, on who would win. I think the weather and being at home field in Penn State is going to be the deciding factor in this game. It is about an 8 or a 9-point spread. And based on what we saw the past weekend, where the conference championship games, where we saw some teams from the South go travel north and how that impacted the game and those players, it had a massive impact. And these folks from Texas, from Dallas, traveling up to central Pennsylvania to go play a game in cold weather, I think it's going to be tough for them. So give me Penn State to edge out SMU. I got to give Penn State to beat the Broncos, which is bringing us to Notre Dame and Penn State. And I think Penn State edges this one out over Notre Dame, and I think they punch their ticket to the national championship. And that brings James Franklin, like all the things that I've said about him, can't win the big games or anything, like that narrative changes immediately. So give me Penn State in the national title game, and then we'll head to Oregon and Clemson. I think Oregon will if this game ends up happening, I think Oregon will win this game relatively comfortably here. So give me Oregon, Penn State, a rematch of the Big Ten title game, and give me the Ducks. Sko Ducks. Quack, quack, baby. I got Oregon as the national champion this year. I'm really excited for the playoff. Excited to see how it'll shake out. The home field games is going to be great. So I'm really excited about that. Follow Big Body Ball CFB on all socials.